Okay, yeah, well, my name is Jason Lizotte. I'm originally from a Métis settlement called Paddle Prairie. It's 4 hours north of where I live now, and I currently live in Grand Prairie, Alberta. So I spent most of my life living in this small settlement. We grew up with one water tap of water, so we had to boil our water, use outhouses, boil water for dishes, and all that kind of stuff. Till later on in life when bigger things started to come, and then we got funded for a house and we moved in there. So yeah, and then I grew up there, and then living with my family, they were all entrepreneurs. Like we had companies, my dad owned a company, so I kind of had always had that entrepreneurial mind of owning a company and everything. So when I turned 18, I went to welding school. Uh, I graduated in 2003 and I became a journeyman welder. So for 25 years, I've been welding. In 2010, I started my own company, Silverline Welding. So that entails being a contract welder where I weld on pipelines, fabricate process piping, work in gas plants, oil plants, mills, pretty much most of the whole sector of welding I've worked in. So yeah, with that, I've gained a lot of tools and knowledge in all sorts of industries. I've worked around, all kinds of every industry, pretty much, well, not everyone, but like, electrical, cranes, all that kind of stuff. And so it's gained me a lot of knowledge for starting my company, Nipiy Industries. Yeah, so like being an entrepreneur, and I always thought of like I always wanted to be an inventor. So it's always been on my mind. I had a few other projects, but one day, like continuously fueling up my welding rig, I always thought there was a problem not being able to wash your hands at gas pumps. And it's one of the most dirtiest places that people touch all the time, and you can't clean your hands after. So the thought came to me, like every gas station has a canopy on it, and I thought, like, well, why can't we put a solar panel up there, have a fully automated system down here, have tanks, or you could recapture the rainwater and use that water to wash your hands, and it makes the world a safer place. And it was really, and then I did the research on it, and there was nothing out there like it. So with that, that's how like I got really excited about it, and then I started really, really thinking about it and kind of doing the research on it. And so, yeah, so with that, I did do the research on it. I did a patent research and it came back very favorable. So there was nothing out there like this. So with that, I decided to start building this thing. So I built the first prototype out of my garage, started on it in like 2000, mid 2019. The thought was there way before that. I had the parts ordered, but then I'm like, okay, well, let's get going and get into this thing here. So I started building the prototype in my garage, and I designed that myself. It was a lot of trial and error. So it was like, okay, we got to make this part component fit here. Well, this component's got to fit there, and it's all got to be functional. And then with my welding background, I could easily navigate through these problems because I'm skilled enough to be able to cut stuff and replace stuff and figure stuff out, right? So from that there, we built that prototype, and I didn't want to bring it out until I was protected, because this thing has not been seen before and there's nothing out there like it. So I didn't want to bring it to the public and have somebody steal the idea or do something else with it. So with that, we filed for patent protection. So once we became patent pending, and I think it was 2020, and then I brought that first prototype out and I took it to a job site at Tech Mines in Sparwood, which was really good because it was a coal mine, and it was a really dirty place. So it got utilized really well there, and it got great reviews. So that was our MVP, our minimal viable product, and it went really well. So with that, I got a loan from SIC, and then enabled me to build 10 more. So I built 10 more products of these standalone units. So it was late in the year that year, we didn't really get to get them out because it was winter was hitting, and it's a seasonal thing in Canada, hand wash stations. So we were able to sell one right off the bat, and then we were able to promote throughout the winter just by pictures and stuff. But that winter, after we put those away, my two boys were there with me, and I'm like, okay, well, there's definitely a market for children's ones, right? So I took my boys in the garage and I sized up this little machine around them, and then I built that second machine I built was that kids hand wash station in my garage. Same thing, built it all myself, designed it myself, bought all the materials, got the kids out there to drill holes, got them painting. So I involved them in this new model that I built. So we come out with that one, and I still own that one. I'll never give that one away, but that one got really great reviews too. So we sold three of those right off the bat to daycares for North Peace Tribal Council, and they love them. Like they put them out every year. Kids get to wash their hands before they go in, and that keeps the dirt out and it keeps them safe and healthy. So now I had those two models, and then I was approached by the Métis Nation of Alberta President Audrey Patra at the time. She came into my garage. She had seen my products, and they were just building this new tourism site, Métis Crossing. So she came and asked me if I can design her a newer model that was a children's adult combo unit. And I said, well, yeah, I'll try. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I figured it out because of the background in welding. So yeah, so I ended up building two of these adult combo units, and they're out at Métis Crossing, and they work they work really well for tourism sites because there's a children one, an adult one. They have one in front of their petting zoo, and then they have one at their barbecue area. So keeps all the tourists there clean and safe. And then the final product we came out with was a construction site model with that was a no-brainer because of my background welding and being in these dirty spots. So with this one, I incorporated a safety shower unit on it for remote places and chemical burns. I put an eye wash kit on it, safety eye wash station, a burn kit, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher on it. And I put it on wheels, so it's really accessible to move around for these remote areas where you can't get to these products if there's a safety issue, right? So I guess COVID come as a blessing. I mean, because this idea wasn't because of COVID. This idea was because there was a problem. I seen a need for it, and it just happened. Like the timing was impeccable because COVID hit, and like I already had this thing half built in my garage, and I was thinking, darn, like I should have just finished this, but now I know I have to because COVID's here. So yeah, so it works. So I guess yeah, it was lucky that COVID hit, because now they are mandatory now in most festivals and work job sites. You have to have a minimum of these hand wash stations
Okay.
per people and per outdoor washrooms. Yeah. So I think the biggest success for me was being granted the utility patent for US and Canada, right? Like, because that's huge. Nobody can touch my invention, my thoughts. So for me, that's one of the biggest successes. And moving forward with this, like I've won a lot of pitch contests. So I think that's a pretty big success for me and my product getting out to the public and being showing, and being awarded some of these as a winner against some amazing competitors that have amazing products and ideas too. So I've won Shell Livewire Canada. I won Kamloops Powwow, and I want to elevate up by Alberta Innovates. So that's three big ones. I won the Indigenous Business of a Distinction Award by the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce last year. So that was a big success for us too. I was a finalist on Powwow Pitch. That was a big success. And I was a semi-finalist this year in Startup Canada and in the Purelator Pitch Contest, all out of Canada. So That was really big. And then we were also featured on a TV show called The Bears Lair TV. So that's a big success, being exposed nationwide on a TV platform. So that was a huge success for me too. So right now I have two careers and two companies, right? So it's kind of it's been a challenge to juggle both of these and being able to, okay, well, I got to commit to, like I did it this year. I got to be able to commit to Nipiy for 4 or 5 months, and then we're not established enough right now, and we don't have that big market right now, which we're working on to be fully sustainable and make a living off of these things right now, because my company, welding company, does most of the funding for it. So that is the main reason that we haven't scaled up. But it's like I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I don't want to go out and make 100 of these things and all of a sudden nobody wants them, and I'm sitting on, $1 million a product. So if somebody comes up with a big order, then yeah, let's go, let's do it, let's get these things built and let's get them out there. So being from a welder background, I have I'm all new to this whole business entrepreneur thing, right? So I've only started this like 3 years ago, and then starting these pitch contests, they're exciting but very intimidating because I have no experience in these things. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing, YouTube research, I guess. And um, a lot of things I've learned is like how to public speak better, how to do interviews, how to cope being out of my comfort zone. Like before, like talking to 10 people, I'd be like very, very nervous, wanting to go hide, but I've learned to overcome that through these pitch contests, because there's so many people watching you, and then you just get used to it. And yeah, public speaking is a big one I've learned a lot from. How to present my company. So watching other competitors and how they do stuff is really inspiring, and like using what they use, some of their criteria. And I learned how to incorporate stuff better in my company from other competitors. And I learned like a lot of networking is very key to being successful, keeping a good networking database, keeping in touch with people, and also supporting people. If you support them, they're going to support you back. So that's a really good value I've learned from all of these pitch contests. Things I would do differently, or things that I'll probably tell these kids to do, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's a big one. Help is a huge one. You can't do everything on your own. It doesn't matter. I mean, not everybody's going to give you the most something that you could take and do, but you know what you need to do to take away to help you identify your product or your company and your vision. Um, don't be afraid to take chances. Like you're going to have to take these chances, because if you don't, someone else will. And you can't get anywhere if you don't take a chance. Do your research, do your background research, marketing research. Like you don't want to come out with a product that's already 100 times over and can't be sold in your, and you have to do that research on your product. um Network, do as much networking you can, make as much contacts as you can. Keep in touch with these contacts, have a good support group behind you, always have people supporting you. That was one of my biggest things, is like, actually a funny story. I showed one of my friends, good friends, my product before it was, when it was half built, and he was like, nobody wants that. It veered me away from that product. And then I was like, a few other friends came back, why didn't you finish that? You got to do this, you got to finish it. So I did. Now I'm here today from that support, having that good support group. So that's a big one. And yeah, just be confident. I mean, you're gonna have to step out of your comfort zones. That's where your support group, your networking, there's always people out there that'll help you. Good people will always want you to succeed. So we hope that's the way everybody thinks. So for the Indigenous, there are financial resources, fundamental or financial resources. A lot of resources that I used are, these pitch contests. I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. Get into those business workshops, like any kind of thing that is going to help your company. Just try your hardest to do it. Do the workshops, do the classes. We just went through a course, trade accelerator program course. That's a good resource for us because now we're on a path to go global. So any kind of a resource that is offered, take full advantage of it, because even if you don't take everything away, you might take that one thing away that's going to help you.